The story is about the traders of Seri. Once upon a time, in the kingdom of Seri, there was an honest trader. He traveled from place to place selling trinkets and other fancy goods. Sometimes another trader who sold similar wares traveled with him. That trader was a greedy man and often cheated his customers. One day, both of them went into the city of Andhapura to carry out their businesses. To avoid competition, they went in different directions. This was their usual practice. If one found the other in a street, he would not go into that street. Following the usual practice, they divided the city between themselves and began selling their goods. They went through the streets shouting, "Beads for sale! Beads for sale!" And people came out of their homes to buy the goods. An old woman and her granddaughter lived in that city. They belonged to a family of traders, and years before they had been very rich. But now they had lost all their monies and were very poor. They did whatever work they could find and barely managed to find enough to eat and survive. That afternoon, the greedy trader came to the street, shouting, "Beads for sale! Beads for sale!" When the young girl heard him, she begged her grandmother to buy her something. "But we don't have money to buy anything, dear," said the grandmother. "There is nothing valuable we can offer in exchange either." The girl looked around the house and found an old black bowl that they never used. She took it to her grandmother and said, "Grandmother, look! Here's a bowl. We never use it. Let us ask him if he'd give us something in exchange for this bowl." The old woman looked sadly at this bowl. It was the old bowl her husband always used when he was alive. After his death, she had put it away and had forgotten all about it. What she didn't know was that the bowl was made of gold and was very valuable. It was black only because it had collected several layers of dirt and grime over the years. Seeing no harm in selling it, she decides to exchange it for an ornament her granddaughter liked. She called out to the greedy trader and invited him into their house. She showed him the bowl and said, "Sir, my granddaughter would like to buy a trinket. Would you give her something she choose from your wares and take this bowl in exchange?" The greedy trader didn't think much of the bowl, but decided to look at it anyways. He took it in his hand, turned it over, and scratched the back of it with a needle. When the layers of dirt fell, he realized it was a bowl made of real gold. It was worth more than all the money he had. But since the old woman didn't know anything about it, he thought to cheat her. He thought, "I'll make them believe that the bowl is worthless and walk away now. Then I'll come back later and pretend to take up their offer because I pity them. That way they will give it to me for very little money." So he threw the bowl on the floor and shouted, "Why did you waste my time? This bowl isn't even worth a single bead for my goods." He then turned around and walked away, happy that his plan was working. Right then, the honest trader came into the street, since he did not find the other peddler. There, he decided it was all right to try selling his wares. In this street, when they saw him, the young girl and her grandmother decided to try their luck with this trader. So they called him and showed him the bowl, half expecting him to throw it on the floor too. But as soon as he realized it was made of gold, he said, "Mother, this is a golden bowl, and I don't have enough money to buy it from you. It is worth at least 1,000 of silver coins, and I have only 500 silver coins with me." The old woman could not believe her ears, but the peddler threw it on the floor, saying, "It is worthless," she said. "Please take it, and we'll accept anything you give us in return." He gave her all the money he had and still felt he wasn't being fair. So he gave them all his goods too. He kept just enough money to get back home and left with a bow. Shortly after he left, the greedy trader returned to the house and told them he was willing to consider their offer because he felt pity for them. The old woman was furious. "You crook! You told us that vow was worthless. You thought you could cheat us?" "Luckily, an honest trader came and bought it from us for almost 1,000 silver coins." "You are too late." When the peddler heard it, he was in agony. "You cheated me of my golden bowl. I was the first one to realize it was made of gold. It should be mine." He ran after the other trader, hoping to catch him and take the bowl from him. But till then, the honest trader had crossed the nearby river and gone away to another town. The greedy peddler was so disappointed at having lost a fortune that by the time he reached his house, he was terribly sick. The good trader took the bowl to another city, and it fetched him more money than he imagined. He went home a rich man. He continued to be good and honest to his customers and lived happy for many years.